So interesting. Capping 7 people, which, as you said, in all my years, I think the most we've ever capped at one time is 3.
Yeah.
And
But
yet,
the market's really bad, Richard.
well, I was just going to say, yet every day I'm reading that sales are down, the market is
Not
still
here.
What's going on?
We're not listening.
What are you guys doing? I'll tell you what, it's all up here,
Yep.
guys. This is, it's what you came back from Texas with. It's what you guys have been doing, going to Rocket,
Sales Rocket?
Sales Rocket every week. Guys, ignore what you're reading in the papers. Ignore what the other realtors are saying. This is all mindset. There's still business out there,
Yeah.
right? You're going to be showing some stats later, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I won't get into that, but bottom line, there's business out there. Lynn's saying that, the bottom of the market, 4 million transactions this year. I think last year we did 4.2.
Yep.
So we're dropping to 4 million this year. That's 8 million sides.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anybody that's planning on doing that kind of business.
Yeah, and what's
Even the
interesting-
top people in the country aren't planning that kind of business.
No.
It's there. You just have to go after it.
Just because there is less opportunity doesn't mean your opportunity has to be less.
Absolutely.
Let other people
Absolutely.
have less. You go take more.
Yep. It's there for you guys. All right, so I wanted to talk about compliance. I'm going to start. I've got to apologize.
It's going to be a good conversation about
I'm
compliance.
going to apologize to you for the uncontrollable. This is all changing. Almost every day, so it seems something is changing.
Yes.
And we are trying to keep up with it as quick as possible. So yesterday, I think I already got 3 emails. The the EBBA is the only document I can think of offhand that actually still requires the broker signature. Every other document, it will say authorized
Agent.
authorized agent, authorized sales associate, or broker. You can sign all those documents. The EBBA is the only one that has a line for broker. You need to DocuSign that to me. I sign it real quick. Thankfully, my phone is working now. And as I told Scott, warning for you, if you ever upgrade to a new phone, don't do it on a Friday evening. You'll be out of business all weekend long trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So here's one of the changes we've made. And I know this is blurry, but this is available online.
Or right here. Just you can download
Or
right here.
download there. And guys, this is a great cheat sheet
It's
as
been
to what
updated since last
documents
week,
you
if
need.
you did get it.
Was-
It's updated.
So dark green are required documents. The light green are if needed. The compensation agreements, up until yesterday, we had that as dark green. So when you took a listing, you should have one of these compensation agreements signed. The realization is that's not a requirement. I wrote in here, it's a good idea to have it signed at time of listing. It's not required. Okay? If you get it signed at time of listing, upload it into the system. The great thing is you now have it, so when a buyer's agent calls you up and says, what's the compensation, you already have the document signed that you can send over to them. So you're not having to go back to your seller and say, I need you to sign another document for me. Just do it all at once. It'll make it a lot easier for you. Brand new document just hit on Monday. It's the flood disclosure. As of October 1, that will be required.
Which is Tuesday next week.
With every single listing.
Currently, even under agreement.
No. Listings going forward as of October 1. The affiliated business disclosure. We've kind of been going back and forth with this. This is a RESPA compliance for Title Alliance, and it is not just if you're using Title Alliance. That should be in every single file. We're updating that document. Hopefully, it'll be changed as of tomorrow. When you take a listing, the MLS printout, the tax record, seller net sheet is now being required.
Why, Richard?
Okay. It's something you should all be doing anyways. You always should have done it, showing your sellers what their costs are. But the change that we've made to the seller net sheet, showing both the listing agent commission and the buyer's agent commission, it's an added layer of our protection, showing that we've explained to our client that it's no longer one commission. It's been broken apart as the NAR settlement and as DOJ is getting more and more involved in things. Guys, this is, like I said, my protection to protect you. So whether you're working with a seller or a buyer, you should have a net sheet in there. Guys, my opinion, this is just good business practice.
Yeah. It's a good CYA.
How many of you have had experiences with getting to closing or immediately before closing, and your seller is going, I didn't know I was paying that?
100%.
Yeah, and buyers are the same thing. They're showing up and going, well, I didn't know I had that fee on my side. I didn't know this. Guys, understand it's an estimate, and that's how you're going to explain it to them. The way we always used to do a seller net sheet, there's two columns on it. Going, this is the list price. This is what it would look like if we get full price. Here's the reality. If we have to negotiate X percent off, this is how it's going to reflect to you. Are you okay with these numbers? All right, let's go. Same thing with a buyer. You're working with a buyer. Don't you want to know that the buyer has the money to show up to closing to cover all the expenses? Now, with the commission forms now, you're telling the buyer they're responsible for your commission. However, Mr. Buyer, I am going to do the best I can to negotiate the seller paying that commission. But on the buyer net sheet, I'm going to have the one column is if they're paying the commission, and the other column showing that they're not, that it's coming from the seller. Either way, here's the potential that you're going to have to bring to the closing table. Are you okay with that? Now, Lynn, how much easier does that make your life when you're also having the same discussion with the buyers about what the potential is for them to bring to the closing table?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about clarity. It's all about clarity, because it's not a matter of who wants to and who doesn't want to. It's a matter of housing. And when people, they have to figure out a way to buy a house because they need housing, and it's just a matter of negotiating and having clarity. If they know, they'll be prepared for it. If they don't, they won't. It's just about clarity.
Yep.
It's about having hard conversations.
Richard, I guess the question on the buyer side, should we do that in the very beginning when they're pre-approved, or should we wait and do that net sheet based on the specific property that they're gonna be writing the offer?
I would personally do it in the buyer consultation. You're having them sign one of your showing forms, the EBBA. This is, they're also doing the affiliated business disclosure and the buyer net sheet. I mean, this, you're saying you want to look between, 600,000 and 700,000. So let's do a net sheet for what your expenses would be if we bought a $700,000 home. Now, understand that all of this is going to change once you talk to Lynn and you get the specific figures from her. This is just an estimate of what the cost could
Do you
be.
want us to update that net sheet once we've narrowed
No.
down the property, or no? As
I
long
don't-
as
I
we
don't
have
think-
the initial
I don't think there's a need for it. This is, again, from my standpoint as the broker protecting you, the primary purpose of it is to show the two different columns for buyer's commission, seller's commission.
Yeah.
And the
seller net sheet, you can actually, if you use our app, they can sign it online, where you're talking to our corporate office to get the buyer to be able to sign it too. So, and you can use
Correct.
those net sheets from
Yeah.
time to date.
Great.
Yeah, we will, there is a seller's net sheet, and what we're working on, Miko, have you completed the?
Almost done that one.
Okay, so what we are working towards is you go to this form, and all you have to do is click on that, and it'll take you right to the document. You click on that, it'll take you right to the document.
And then
So-
Richard and I had to reschedule our video day to Monday next week. And we're
Yeah.
adding videos for all of these as well.
Yeah.
I can't, do you have wire fraud on there?
Yes, wire fraud is going to be under contracts. Under contracts, you've got your contract, any addendums checked in the contract. And this is one of the issues that I've picked up for a long time. You're doing a contract, or you're representing a seller, and you get an offer, a contract from the buyer's agent, and there are boxes checked for addendums, and where the hell are the addendums?
Yeah.
They're not there. So you want to make sure that they match up, and the people doing our compliance, they will bounce back your file if it's checked on the contract, but if the accompanying document is not there. The compensation agreements have
One
to
of
be,
them?
have to be submitted when you're uploading your contracts. Flood disclosure, MLS printout, tax record, wire fraud, escrow, deposit receipt letter, and then your DA. So all of that will be required when you go under contract. And then, so it's like a whole lot of stuff just flows from one to the other. It's already in your file.
Yeah.
So should be relatively easy for everybody to understand what paperwork you need and how to do it. And by the time we finish on Monday, if you have any questions at all about, well, we're not doing videos for tax records or MLS printouts. But, and anything that could need an explanation, we're going to have a video for you.
Yep.
Might be a 2-minute video, it might be a 1-hour video when we're talking about the contracts and stuff.
Yep.
It'll be there.
Yep. Good.
All right.
Richard, don't leave yet. Give it up for Richard. And then I figured, you like stats, so we're going to go ahead and talk about opportunity. Last week we talked about the opportunity of, what was it? Expireds, right? Approximately 50% of all single-family homes are expiring. About 64% of all condos are expiring between all 3 counties. So I put up the inventory right now that we have. This is for Broward County. This is the detached residences. And you'll see that the majority of every single one of the price points is in a seller's market still. And then you've got a couple in the balanced market, which is under $250,000, which, where is that in Broward County? It's tough to find, right? No, that's not even a condo, because this is detached homes. So, and then you've got your 850 to 1 million, which that data.
No, actually, that's
Sorry.
that's 1 to 1.5.
Yeah, 1 to
and then
1.5.
2 to 3, but the 1.5 to 2 is back down at 6. because
Correct.
it figures that.
Correct.
But understand, guys, that up until, I think it was 2 years ago, none of these categories even existed on these reports.
Yeah.
It was 1 to 2 and then 2 up. So this is how much business is being done in the upper end markets. Now, yeah, it's taking longer to sell than it was this time last year. But to take under a year to sell a home that's under $4 million, that's pretty good. I'd say that's pretty darn good. Now, 7 million plus, for the most part, those are your trophy homes,
Yeah.
right? Those are your, there's not a lot from 7 to 10. You're really going up. And you read every day in the paper that another $31 million home sold, or another,
But
these
they
are.
don't put how long it was on the market most of the time.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, it's a major sport figure. Michael Jordan just sold his home after.
Chicago.
In Chicago, after 11 years on the
11 years
market.
On the market, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, and many, many, many price reductions.
And many
Which-
agents.
Many age, which the point is, anything will sell at the right price. And when you look at this, what's going on in here, it's because they're priced right. Now, you were saying, look at 50% of all of these homes are expiring, right? Or taking price reductions.
On average, 48.9% of every listing took a price reduction.
But look at this, sold above list price. Half the homes are taking price reductions,
about
and you've got
20% of them.
25% of them are selling at or above list price.
This is why pricing is so important. Richard and I say this every time we do our stats presentation. The market will never let you underprice a home. It will always bring the price up to what it needs to be. It will always let you overprice the home. So use this data. And
Look at these
Yeah, I
two
mean-
numbers. Okay, this is not price reduced. The average home is selling 98.5% of its list price. If it takes a price reduction,
90%.
90.
Yeah. So I wanted to share this slide with you to show you what are the quick snapshot of the detached single-family homes look like. And then I wanted to show you in Broward County that there's a vast difference in the condo market here in Broward County, because all but 2 of our price points in Broward County right now are at they're technically in buyers markets. So Richard, what does this tell you?
That the media only tells you half the story. Yeah, there are major price reductions going on in the condo market.
58.3% of all condo listings had a price reduction.
But come back and look at some of these numbers as well. Now, in the condo market, it's 650 and under, but you still have condos that are selling at or above
Correct.
full price.
Yeah, that $550,000 price point, 29% of them
Yeah.
went above list price. if they were priced
Even
right.
though it's a buyer's market.
Correct.
Guys, you've heard me use it before, and it still holds true. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you need to understand that when you put your home on the market, you are in a price war and a beauty contest.
Shift tactic number 8.
And the best priced home and the best looking home will be the next one to sell. Which one of these stats do you want to be part of? Now, same thing, you go down here, the not price reduced homes are going 97.6%, takes a price reduction, it drops 10%.
87%.
If we get it wrong the first time, you're going to be paying a major penalty for that.
Correct.
Yeah, guys, I know most of you don't look at or understand numbers the way that we do, but this is part of your job.
Yeah.
This is part of what you have to learn in order to have these conversations with people. Now, I'm out on the tennis court, I'm talking to friends, and the question always is, well, what's going on with the market? I'll tell you, there are 2 or 3 of those numbers that I memorize, and that's all that my conversation is with them. You're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of the stats. But when you can talk to somebody and you say, you know what, it's a really mixed market. It's a tale of 2 markets right now. Because while half of the listings are expiring, you still have 25% of every listing out there selling above asking price. It's a matter of the best homes that are priced properly are still selling and selling quickly. So hard to give you a general idea as to what's going on in the market.
Yeah. And as a reminder, every single one of you have access to all of the stats for Miami-Dade, Palm Beach, and Broward County on kwwaxman.com/stats, and the password is all lowercase integrity. And then on there, also, if you weren't aware, the expired and for sale by owner list is being updated every single day, so that if you want to make phone calls to expireds and for sale by owners, which a lot of our agents are having a ton of success with right now. It's all there for you. We're taking care of the expense so that you have access to be able to call those on a daily basis. And remember, don't be afraid to call those ones that are 4 months old, because a lot of times those people are even more receptive now because all the other agents have forgotten about them. Most agents call how many times? One. They don't get a response.
How about
or
zero?
They don't like the response.
Most
Yeah,
agents don't call.
Zero. The agents that do call one time. Very few of them will call more than once. Vicki?
So I just wanted to let you know that I listened to this conversation about calling expired. I've never called an expired,
Okay.
never.
Yeah.
And I called. And
And you're still breathing?
and I had a conversation with the gentleman, and this was he's about 2 months on the market old. You know, he expired about 2 months ago. And I have a conversation with him coming today, and I'm setting an appointment, and he gave me so much information. We had about 15 minutes on the phone. He is ready to go. I explained to him that his home, you know, most likely was priced out of the market, and the market rejected it. And it's easy, and it's so crazy. I left messages for other people, and on the way in, I had somebody call me and said that, you know, he had got my message, and they had their house on the market, and they're not going to sell probably till January, but their wife has a friend, and I had the conversation just saying, I'm sure it would be easier if you had someone that was a neutral party.
Yeah.
I'd love the opportunity, and he's going to talk to his wife, and that's it. So it's so easy.
Good job. And by the way, when you're talking price and it's their second time going on the market, they are even more receptive to the information that you're giving them because they now know and have proof of what doesn't work.
Understand that most realtors out there don't have access to, they get the board stats, which
They don't
are
have
pretty
this.
minimal. They don't have this. So when you go in armed with what actually happened and why it happened, you become the expert. You become the economist of choice for these people. And Vicki, it's just, up here that you're able to have that kind of conversation, and it takes away the fear of making the phone call.